Hi friends. So let's cover a very important topic today, which is basically modern mathematics. In modern mathematics there are different topics which we'll cover, and the questions on these topics do appear at random, sometimes quite frequently in different exams. So before we proceed with the questions, let's understand what all we are going to cover in this session. Basically, in this session, we are going to handle some complex clock questions, and then we are going to handle a few questions based on calendars, followed by a few questions on stocks and shares, and lastly there will be some practice questions so that you practice more and learn better. Students, just have a look at the first question. Now I suggest you to take a pause and go through this question for 30-40 seconds. Now, hopefully, as you have gone through this question, let's solve this question here. So students, the clock was set right at 8 a.m. and then 6 p.m. on day after tomorrow. We know from 8 a.m. then 8 a.m. is the next morning, and in the morning after that it is 24 plus 24, a total of 48 hours plus 10 more hours from the morning 8 till evening 6. So it becomes a total of 58 hours. Now students, as per the question, the clock gains 20 minutes in 48 hours. Very importantly, you have to be careful what is the real time in this case and what is the time that the clock is indicating. So students, can I say from reading this statement here that when the real time is 48 hours, the clock indicates us 48 1/3 hours. I converted 20 minutes into hours. Now students, this 58 hours, is it the real time or it is the time indicated by the clock? It says when the clock indicates 6 p.m. This means these 58 hours is the time which are indicated by the clock. Now you want to calculate the real time. Now students, in this you can think what to do after that. You may think of applying the unitary method, which you have to, but the unitary method application here can be done in a better manner. We can say when the clock indicates 48 1/3 or 145/3 hours, it is ahead by 20 minutes. So when the clock indicates 1, it is ahead by 20 into 3 by 145, students. And now when the clock indicates 58 hours, can we apply here into 58? Now students, when you solve this, 29, 5, 2, and it is 5 4s are 20. You can see here students, it is ahead by 24 minutes. Right students? Now very importantly, we calculated the clock, the time that the clock is showing, it is ahead by how many minutes? Now it is ahead by 24 minutes, students. Now just have a look at our original question. It is showing us 6 p.m. Now 6 p.m. and we already concluded it is 24 minutes ahead. So what will be the real time, students? You will subtract that, 5:36 p.m. on the same day. Students, so the answer for this will be 5:36 p.m. Right students, just have a look at one more question. It says there's a watch which gains uniformly is 6 minutes slow on a Monday 5 p.m. and then on the following Monday 9 a.m. it was 10 minutes and 40 seconds fast. So students, from 6 minutes slow to 10 minute 40 second fast means it has gained a total of 16 minutes and 40 seconds, which in total becomes, students, 960 plus 40, that is 1000 seconds. Now students, as initially this watch was 6 minutes slow and finally it is 10 minutes 40 seconds fast and it is gaining uniformly. So this means in between, when it would have gained exactly the 6 minutes, it will show us the right time. Now exactly the 6 minutes means when it gains 360 seconds, as 6 minutes would mean 360 seconds. It will just show us the right time. Now let's solve this, students, further. Have you noted here that from 5 p.m. on Monday to the next Monday 9 a.m. had it been 5 p.m. only, it would have become 24 by 7, that is 168 hours. But from 5 in the evening we are coming to 9 in the morning, so it will be reduced by 8 hours. So it becomes a total time period of 160 hours. Now students, again you can apply chain rule that the watch gains 1000 seconds in 160 hours. It will gain 1 second in 160 by 1000 hours, and it will gain 360 seconds in 160 by 1000 into 360 hours. Now students, cancelling the zeros, then 2's here, you get a total of 288 by 5 hours, that is 57.6 hours. Now students, think about this. You are talking the same on 5 p.m. on Monday. Now 5 p.m. on Monday, so first of all you add 24 hours in this, and we can add 24 2 times, you can see here, as the number is greater than 48. So that means you reach on Wednesday 5 p.m. Adding 48 hours changes the day by 2. Now there are 9 hours and 9 and 0.6 hours, students. So add 9 hours and 5 p.m. students, you reach on 2 a.m. on Thursday. Students, 2 a.m. on Thursday, and then there are 0.6 into 60, 36 minutes more. So your answer becomes 2:36 a.m. on Thursday. Right, students? Now let's go to the next question, which is a very, very complex question in the context of clocks and calendars. This question. Now the person goes out of his house between 3 and 4, returns between 4 and 5. He just observes that the two hands of the clock have interchanged their positions. And we want to calculate what was the time when he left his house. Now students, there is a shortcut for this. You should learn and apply that. Now before we go to that, let's conclude 1 or 2 points here, students. Can you say that the time at which the student would have gone, it is given to be that he goes between 3 and 4. So students, you can say the hour hand will be between 3 and 4. And when he returns, the time was somewhere between 4 and 5. Now because both the hands have only interchanged the positions, so can we say when he goes, the minute hand must be between 4 and 5, students? Yes. Now, more importantly, the angle or the point where you have to focus here is basically the angle between the two hands which is made at this time. Now students, this angle being very, very important, for the first timers, I am going to tell you to remember it forever, that whenever the hands interchange their positions, the angle between the two hands is 360 by 13 degrees. Or it could be a multiple of the same. Now students, we know we have to answer this question, how many minutes past 3 he goes. So what is the angle at 3 o'clock between the two hands? If you will see, at 3 o'clock the two hands will be at this position, or they will have an angle of 90 degree between them. Now students, here the minute hand will gain those 90 degrees to be coinciding with the hour hand. Then it has to move ahead by 360 by 13 degrees as per the concept I have told you. Now students, I know you have to remember here that the speed of the minute hand is 6 degrees per minute and the speed of the hour hand is half a degree per minute. So students, the relative speed of the minute hand is relative speed of minute hand comes out to be 5.5 or 11 by 2 degrees per minute. Right students? Now minute hand has to relatively cover 90 degree plus 360 by 13. All that is to be covered relatively. We know minute hand covers 11 by 2 degrees relatively in 1 minute. So it will cover 1 degree in 2 by 11 minutes. So it will cover all that stuff in how much time students? So this will come over here 90 plus 360 by 13. You need to take the LCM students. 2 by 11. Here it is 13 into 9, 1170 plus 360 by 13. Let's solve it here. Students, it becomes 2 by 11 into 1530 by 13, that is 3060 by 143. Solving this is 200, then 1, it is 57 left divided by 143. So 21:57 by 143 minutes past 3 o'clock, the person goes out of his house. Now students, it's being a tough question, right? I told you to remember certain points over here by your heart. One, that the relative speed of the minute hand is 11 by 2 degrees. This here. And besides that students, that whenever the hands interchange their positions, they always make an angle of 360 by 13 degrees or a multiple of that. It is 360 by 13 in case of a gap of 1 hour, and then if it's a gap of roughly 2 hours, it is done into 2 and so on. Right students? Now let's go to the next question here. Now let's solve this question students. Now there could be two methods here in this case. One, you can assume here, which might be an error on your part, that 12th May 1974 was actually a Saturday. But mind it, the examiner's calendar may not be the right calendar. He may be following 2 days later or 2 days in advance as compared to the actual calendar. So you cannot apply that, or if you want to do that, you need to check it for 12th May 1974, whether it was a Saturday or not, and then you do the same for 21st September. That is, if his calendar is 2 days in advance, even you will advance it by 2 days, finding the actual ones, or you will also delay as per the case. Or students, the second approach that you can apply in order to answer this was here, that is, instead of going in for the day, let's move as per the statement. See, 12th May 1974 to, if I straight away move to 12th May 1975, can I say we will get 1 odd day in between? Students, we know every normal year gives us 1 odd day. Now from 75 we move to 76. Now the February that is coming in between is leap. So we will have 2 odd days. Now to 1977 we will have 1 odd day, and so on. We will take it for 1978, 1 more odd day, and then move to 1979 and we will have 1 more odd day. And students, we reach on 12th May 1979. Again, don't go into the days. Let's go from 12th May to 12th of June students. So the month ending in between is May, which usually has 31 days, and it gives us how many odd days students? It gives us 3 odd days. Now move from June to July, 2 odd days, July to August, 3 odd days, August to September. We have again 3 odd days, students, and we reach on 12th of September. But the question talks about 21st of September. So after 12th of September, how many September days more are left, students? So there are 9 more September days. Now students, just try to calculate the odd number of days. Let's cancel the multiple of 7 wherever we generate. 9 plus 3, 12, plus 2, 14. Now 3 plus 3, 6, plus 1, 7. So we are left with a total of 5 odd days. And 5 odd days, students, we need to add that in the day given. The day given there was Saturday. So if you add 5 days in Saturday, students, your answer for this question will become Thursday. So Thursday would be your answer. Right, students? Okay, now let's go on to the next question. It's a lengthy question. The price of Darjeeling tea was given to be 100 plus 0.10 N on the nth day of 2007. That is day 1, it will increase by 0.1, day 2, it will increase by 0.1 2 times and so on. And then it remains constant after 100 days. Whereas for the other tea, it says the price is 89 plus 0.15 N, that is it increases by 15 paisa per day, but here the N is defined from 1 to 365. So students, that simply means that for all the 365 days it keeps on increasing by 15 paisa. Then the second part of the question states on which day the two prices of the tea will be equal. So students, we want to make the two prices equal. So let's have a look at the question once again and go to the dates specified. It is 100 plus 0.10 N. So it increases by 10 paisa every day. Whereas in Ooty, students, it is given to be 89 plus 0.15 N. Now students, he has made this question quite mathematical. You can make this question quite logical. First of all, you can say the price in Darjeeling is 11 rupees more than the price in Ooty, because the price in Darjeeling at present is 100 rupees and price in Ooty at present is 89 rupees. So you want to cover the difference of 11 rupees, students, which we can call as how many paise? It is 1100 paise, students. We are converting into paisa because the change, the increase is defined in terms of paisa only. Now students, first talk about the first 100 days, because for the first 100 days only the price in Darjeeling changes. Now price in Darjeeling increases by 10 paisa, students, and here it increases by 15 paisa. So you can say price in Ooty increases by 5 paisa more relatively. Right, students? So in 100 days, when the price in Darjeeling will only change, can you say the difference will be reduced by how much rupees? It will be reduced by rupees 5 or 500 paisa. Now students, can you conclude here that after the first 100 days, what will be the difference left over in the prices? It will be 6 rupees or 600 paisa. And now the price changes only in Ooty, and that is by 15 paisa. So students, it will take how many days? You divide it by 15 to conclude that after 40 more days, it will be increased by 6 rupees, or both the prices will become equal. So students, 100 days earlier and 40 days now, it becomes a total of 140 days. But as you might have noticed, all the options were in days. So we have to start from the 1st of January to answer in days. Now students, you know January has 31 days. February will have 20 only. It was 2007. March has 31 days. April has 30 days. And with this, the total becomes 120 days. Now there are 20 more days to be left, students. So adding 20 days or going to the 20th of the next month, that is May 20, will be your answer, students. So 20th May shall become your answer. Right, students? So we can make this question quite logical one. There is no need to consider it otherwise or do the mathematical calculations. Think about it and you can answer it as May 20 being your final answer. Okay, students. Let's have a look at one more clock question. It says the hands of a clock coincide after every 64 minutes. Now, how much will the clock gain or lose in 24 hours? So, students, first important point, if the clocks move at a normal pace, the two hands meet after every 65 5/11 minutes. But it is meeting in 64 minutes, students, of the correct time, because the watch is not going okay. So this means it is gaining 1 5/11, that is 16/11 minutes after every 64 minutes. Now students, just think what the question is. Question talks about losing by clock in 24 hours. Now 24 hours has how many minutes? 24 hours has 24 into 60 minutes. So let's apply chain rule and get the answer, students. In 64 minutes, the clock gains 16/11. In 1, it will gain 16/11 into 1/64, and now in 24/60. Now this we need to solve, students. 16 4s are 64, 4 this is 6. This becomes equal to 360/11 minutes. Now students, 360/11 minutes you will convert. It becomes 11 3s the 33, 330, 11 2s the 22, 32, 8/11 minutes. Our question was the clock will gain or lose how much? So we will say the clock would have gained 32 8/11 minutes. Right, students? Now let's go to the next question. It's a question on stocks. Now in this question, students, a person has invested 15,000, some part at 6% stock and some part at 7%. Now mind it, you want the income from both the stocks to be same. Now let's solve it, students, like this. Can you say that the person invests 126 rupees in the first case to earn rupees 6 as a dividend? Now if you invest 126 to earn 6 rupees, you can say basically you are investing 21 rupees to earn an income of rupee 1. Similarly, in the other, the person is investing 168 rupees to earn rupees 7, or I can say in order to earn rupee 1, you are investing 24 rupees. Now students, when we said you are earning rupees 1 from both, can you say your income is same? Now when your income is same, your investment is 21:24. That is, it is in the ratio of 7:8. Right, students? With this, your question is almost over. That is, he invests 7 out of 7 plus 8. 15 in the first case and 8 out of 15 in the second. As a question talks about the first investment, it will be 7/15 into 15,000. Your answer will be rupees 7,000. Right? So straight away, students, you can see we can generate this 7,000, which shall become your answer in this case. Right? Let's have a look at one more question on stocks. You can read the question. Here 6,000 stock. 6,000 stock means how many shares worth rupees 100? Students, it's a standard assumption that you will take it to be rupees 100 unless specified otherwise. Now here he was gaining 5% students. So how much is 5% of 6,000? It comes out to be 0 goes off 300 rupees. Now students, he was having 60 shares which were giving him 300 rupees as his income. Now he sells those shares, and let's do it here, at the rate of rupees 120. So when he sells at the rate of 120 students, can you say he will get an amount of rupees 7,200? Out of that he invests one part at 12% at 140 and other part as 6% at 105. Now let me take it that whatever is question, it is 12% stock at 140. In that he invests X sum of money. Now out of this students, he invests sum of money X such that he earns 12 rupees on every 140 invested, plus the remaining 7,200 minus X. He invests so that he earns rupees 6 on every 105. Now students, in the first case he earns an income of 300, and here his income increases by 200. So that means he must be making an income of rupees 500. So we put that equal to 500. Now this you have to solve, students. Let's solve it here. Now this is 4 3s the, this is 35, this is 3 2s the, this is 35. Now students, seeing 35 common at the denominator, I'll take it on the other side. So it is 3x plus 14,400 minus 2x is equal to 35 into 500, which is equal to 17,500. You just solve this, students. X happens to be equal to 17,500 minus 14,400, that is 3,100. As we already took that sum of money which was basically invested in 12% stock only, so this 3,100 will straight away become our answer. Right, students? So answer becomes 3,100. Now let's move and have a look at one more question. This one. Now here again it's a 6,000 stock, students. Now this is a stock, 4% stock. So what would be his income in this case, students? Hope you are understanding this question. 6,000, 4% basically becomes 240 rupees. Now student, he sells again as per the last question we learnt. 6,000 stock means he has 6,000 by 100, that is 60 shares. Now he sells those shares at the rate of 93 1 by 3. Now students, what will he get out of the sale? He will get 60 into 93 1 by 3 will become 280 by 3. Now this is the amount he gives, which he invests in such a manner that he earns 5 rupees on every 112 invested. Now students, it will straight away give us his income only. Let's cancel it. This is 320. Now 28 into 10, this is 28 into 4. 4 5s is 20. So 5 into 10 into 5, an income of 250 rupees. And in the earlier case, as we can see, there was an income of 240 rupees, students. So that means his income basically increases by 10 rupees. So 10 rupees shall become your answer for this question. Right, students? I hope you all have learned these concepts. This is modern mathematics, and so many papers you see questions on these. Right? Now students, let's have a few questions for you. There's a first practice question. Solve this. Then this is another one which you can give a try. A third one on the same concept of hands interchange. And then this is a question on stocks and shares. Right, students? And these are the 4 answers for these questions. Right, students? I hope you all have understood these questions. You will learn those and how to solve these questions. In order to learn more such videos, in order to go through more such videos, students, you can create an account and you can log into hitbullseye.com. Thank you so much, students. Happy learning.